Hi, hello viewers, it's my Minute IAS Academy and today we are going to see GST, indirect taxes. In indirect taxes particularly we are going to see GST. So we are going to see the leftover topics in fiscal policy. We are going to see the taxes which are subsumed under the GST and we are going to see articles which are relating to GST, GST Council, GST slabs and some of the schemes which are relating to GST. First, let us start with these taxes which are subsumed under the GST. The center taxes. Under the center, the taxes which are subsumed by GST are central excise duty, additional excise duty, countervailing duty. Countervailing duty is actually a trade barrier. Trade barrier which comes under the import of goods. While importing, we can impose trade barriers, that is countervailing duty. Then we have service tax which is imposed on services. Then we have special additional duty of customs. There are certain customs duty which come under the GST. These are the things which comes under the GST by the center. And under state, the taxes which are imposed by the states which now come under GST are state VAT, value added tax and sales tax, and the entertainment tax, entry tax, octroi tax, and also purchase. Luxury tax also comes under the GST, and also tax on lottery. For lottery, gambling, there is a tax. All these taxes come under the GST. These are the taxes which comes under the GST for states. So there are certain other taxes which do not come under GST. Example, here we have countervailing duty. Like countervailing duty, we also have another duty called as anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping duty will not come under GST. Stamp duty will not come under GST. Whereas VAT, value added tax on alcohol, value added tax on alcohol for human consumption do not come under GST, and also property tax levied by the local bodies also do not come under the GST, and also excise duty on the petroleum products. So excise duty on petroleum products do not come under GST. VAT on human alcohol consumption will not come under GST. Like countervailing duty, we have another one thing called as anti-dumping duty which do not come under GST. The property tax which is levied by local bodies also do not come under GST. These are the things which do not come under GST, and these are the things which comes under GST. And now let us discuss the articles which are relating to GST. We have article first, the amendment 101st Constitutional Amendment Act introduced GST. This amendment act is in 2016. This amendment act of 2016 introduced GST. And we have certain articles which are relating to GST. First one is Article 246A. This article is the one which given power to the states to impose taxes on goods and services. Earlier, state can't impose tax on services, but this article gave the power to the states to impose tax on goods and services. And Article 269A talks about IGST. IGST is nothing but it is the interstate goods and service tax, and it will be distributed. This IGST will be distributed between the union and the states. And Article 279A talks about the GST Council. Article 279A talks about the GST Council. GST Council have both union representatives and the state representatives. It is the one which fix the GST slabs. To change GST slab, GST Council should meet and it should be passed with a majority. So GST Council have both union representative and state representatives. Under union representative, we have finance minister. Finance minister is the chairman. And under state representative, we have each state governments and UT with legislatures, finance ministers. Their finance ministers will be there. Under GST Council, the voting ratio for the center will have 33% voting ratio, whereas the state will have 66.6% voting ratio, and the quorum for the GST Council is 50%. 50% is the quorum for GST Council. And these are these tax slabs. The GST Council has fixed some tax slabs. These are the GST slabs. First one is we have 0% for certain products. Example, milk is under 0%. For milk there is no tax. And there is 5% for certain products, and 12%, 18%, and 20%, 28%. These are the tax percentage under the GST. So 0, 5, 18, 0, 5, 12, 18, and 28 are the GST slabs. Then we have certain things which are exempted from tax. There are certain things which are kept under the 0% tax slabs. The 0% mainly we have milk products, and alcohol is not under GST, and also petroleum product is also not under GST because alcohol has a higher tax percentage compared to that of GST. GST maximum we can impose only 28%, but for alcohol the tax is high. So the alcohol is not brought under GST. And then we have certain schemes which are relating to GST. First one is we have GST composition scheme. GST composition scheme is nothing but we have GST. Say and we have 0%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28% is the GST slab. But for poor startup companies or for small scale industries, what our government has introduced is, our government has introduced a scheme called as GST composition scheme. Under this scheme, they are given a flat tax rate. They are not under this tax slab and they are given flat tax rate. For small scale on goods, it is 1%. For small scale industries, they are given a tax of 1% on goods and 5% on restaurants and 6% for all the other services. So the tax percentage is very low compared to that of GST slab for the persons who are under the GST composition scheme. But one disadvantage relating to GST composition scheme is the persons who are applicable for this GST composition scheme, who are under this GST composition scheme, is not applicable for the input tax credit. You should know what is input tax credit. Input tax credit is a benefit of the GST. Under GST, we have a benefit called as input tax credit. So you should know what is input tax credit. Input tax credit is nothing but while you are producing a t-shirt. Say you are producing a t-shirt, you need cotton first. So for this cotton, you pay a tax. And you need buttons. For this button, you pay tax. And you need thread. For that thread, you will pay tax. And finally, you will make a t-shirt, and for this also you will pay tax. And the cost of the shirt will contain the tax of the cotton, tax of the buttons, tax of the thread. But under this input tax credit, you can get these taxes back. That is input tax credit. So you will be given back these taxes which you have already paid. So that is input tax credit. But the persons who are given this benefit, GST composition scheme, who are under this GST composition scheme is not they cannot claim this input tax credit because already they are having a very low GST slab, right? Then we have reverse charge mechanism. We have already said what is direct tax and what is indirect tax. Direct tax is something which in which the payer and the bearer are different. So here the payer and the bearer will be same. Under the reverse charge mechanism, the payer and the bearer will be same. Generally, you are the one who is going to pay. If you are going to buy something, you are the one who will pay the. You are the one who is going to bear the tax. The payer is shopkeeper. But if the shopkeeper is a very small unit who is not registered with the GST, if you have a big company or if you are having a big industrial unit, then you can itself be the bearer and as well as the payer. Why? Because he is not registered with the GST. So you can itself pay by your own self. That is called as reverse charge mechanism, in which the payer as well as the bearer will be same. But generally, the payer is the shopkeeper. If the shopkeeper is not registered with the GST network, then you can itself pay for him. So that is reverse charge mechanism. Then we have e-way billing system. E-way billing system, it will be generated for goods only. For goods, this bill will be generated, and this is done. Why? Because it's to avoid corruption. This bill will be generated, and you can be used. You can use this while you are transporting goods from one place to another. You can show that you have given the GST which is needed. You had proper billing. So that is called as e-way bill, and it is for easy tracking and is to avoid corruption. And then we have compensation cess. We have already discussed what is cess while we are discussing direct taxes. We have GST compensation cess. Under this GST compensation cess, the most important thing is this GST compensation cess is imposed on certain products like tobacco, pan masala, coal and lignite. On these things, GST compensation cess is imposed. Through this, central government will get a good amount of revenue. This says the objective will be clear. So for these products, GST compensation cess will be imposed, and we have GST compensation. Because of this GST, certain states' revenue will be decreased and certain states' revenue will be increased. So the countries. Why? Because in GST we have three things: CGST, Central Goods and Service Tax, State Goods and Service Tax, and we have Interstate Goods and Service Tax. But GST is a destination-based tax. Say for interstate Goods and Service Tax. For this, let us take TN and Kerala. TN manufactured something. Tamil Nadu has manufactured something, and it is sold in Kerala. So the country the state in which it is sold, it is the one which is going to get this IGST. So it is a destination based tax. So Tamil Nadu will not get tax for this. So the manufacturer states will be getting affected. There are many manufacturer states. Maharashtra is a manufacturer state. So the manufacturer states will be getting affected by this destination based tax of nature of the GST. So they introduced a thing called as compensation. Compensation will be given for the 5 years to the states, and after this they should make themselves strong to consume the goods which they have produced. And the state's revenue has increased. For certain states, the revenue has increased because of this GST, and those are Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh revenue has increased, Mizoram revenue has increased, and Manipur revenue has increased. For these states, the revenue has increased. Whereas for certain states, the revenue has decreased, and those are Punjab. For Punjab, the revenue is decreased, Himachal Pradesh revenue is decreased, and Chhattisgarh revenue is decreased. So, if their revenue is decreased, they will be given a compensation for the 5 years. And after 5 years, the compensation will not be given, and they should make themselves strong to consume their own goods. So, that is compensation. We also have compensation sales on tobacco, pan masala, coal and all those things. And then we have an agency called as National Anti-Profiteering Agency. So, we should know what is National Anti-Profiteering Agency. We have already discussed what is input tax credit. If you are producing something, for each thing you are going to buy a tax. If you are getting cotton, for this you will pay a tax, and if you are getting thread, for this you will pay a tax, and if you are getting buttons, for this you will pay a tax. Finally, for the shirt also you will pay a tax. But under this input tax credit, you will be given back these money. These taxes you will be given back. Say for this, if you have paid 20 rupees, it will be charged back. Because of this, the cost of the product will be reduced. If the cost of the product is reduced, then you will sell this product at a cheaper cost, right? You should reduce the selling price also. But if you have not reduced this selling price, then this National Anti-Profiteering Agency can question you. They will force you to reduce the thing, and if you have not reduced the selling price, then they can complain to the National Anti-Profiteering Agency, and they may take action against you. That is National Anti-Profiteering Agency. These are the things which are under the GST. These are the things which are in news relating to GST. So that's it. Subscribe to My Lemonade IAS Academy. Thank you.